I, a 19-year-old male, became estranged from my father 2 years ago after he was outed for having an affair. The woman in question is someone he had worked with, who knew he was married, who had met my mom and me, and had seemed a little off at the time. We now know it was because she liked my dad and wanted me to like her. I was disgusted with my dad. He tried denying it, then he tried to convince my mom it was a one-night stand and nothing more, and that he would forever regret it. Then he wanted her to stay with him and raise the baby he had with the other woman, since they only had me. Even when he moved in with the other woman, he kept trying to stop my mom from going through with the divorce. He tried to get me to talk to my mom on his behalf. He told me my mom was the one breaking up our family and not him. Then, when he gave up and accepted that my mom wouldn't take him back, which is when the other woman lost the baby, he tried to get me on board with things. I ignored all calls and texts from him. I couldn't block him while still a minor, but I didn't reply, and I didn't see my dad face to face during this. I knew I wanted him out of my life for good. He tried to make me see him, but he failed. And once I turned 18, it was over for him. He ended up marrying the other woman, and now they are expecting a child together. I don't want anything to do with any of that, including the baby. And yes, even if I don't have to see them, I have zero interest in knowing that child and any future children. I still see the extended family, which is why I was at a party they also attended, but weren't technically invited to. During the party, my dad's wife approached me and told me she wanted to talk. I said no and walked away. I walked away from her again. The third time she spoke before I could move and said she wants her baby to know their brother, and she wants me to be a part of their family. She wants to know me and have me for dinner, and maybe I could spend some time with them. She tried the whole "we're family now" nonsense, and I left early because I did not want to deal with it. I thanked the hosts, who were already annoyed that she and my dad were there. A couple of my dad's siblings want him around still, and the others don't, but to keep the peace, they let them stay. The two siblings of my dad who think we should all be easier on him and forgive him were so upset with me for leaving early because then the rest of the family turned on my dad. They told me I could have spoken to the woman and not taken it out on her, since she didn't do anything to me. And leaving was an over-the-top reaction and not a mature one, which caused family disharmony. Am I the jerk? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. She wants. Well, she got what she wanted, but every adult should know that we don't get everything we want. You're definitely not the jerk, and you are entitled to run your life as you see fit. That's what being an adult means. And obviously, you already have taken responsibility down for your feelings because leaving the event was a statement that it was a situation beyond your limits. You are not responsible for making your other relatives' lives easier by rolling with whatever your estranged father and his partner decide to do with their lives. You are not obligated to have a relationship with any offspring they have. I wish people wouldn't refer to all half-siblings as brothers or sisters, because there is a whole lot more involved in being a brother or sister than just half your DNA aligning. Don't be pressured into accepting what is unacceptable to you. Does your mom support your position regarding this event? Comment 2. Not the jerk. My dad's partner tried something like this with me, but my sisters and I were already in our 30s. This woman tried to introduce me to my step-siblings and called herself my stepmom. They probably heard my response in the next county. I talk to my dad twice a year, and I'm fine with that. He's the one who wrecked the marriage. He can live with the consequences. You're an adult now. You do you, and as long as you're okay with it, ignore your relatives who spout the whole family nonsense. It takes more than blood to be family. Now, for the update. 1 week after that cringe family dinner, I got a surprise text from my younger sister, Kate. I was like, oh God, what now? But it turns out it was from Kate. She told me our dad wanted to host a family dinner to announce something important. My first thought was, great, more of his crap in my life. But then I saw that Kate said our mom would be there too, so I decided to suck it up and go. I just wanted to make sure Mom was okay after that awkward dinner. The dinner was at my dad's house, and let me tell you, it felt like a completely different place. I walked in and it just felt foreign, you know? The whole vibe was off. There was this weird tension in the air, and when my dad greeted me, it was with this forced enthusiasm that just made my skin crawl. And then I saw her, the other woman, now waddling around because she's like super pregnant. I didn't even know her name until tonight. It's Sarah. And she was just standing there, all proud next to my dad like she was the queen or something. As I walked in, I noticed my brother, Jake, and Kate were already chatting with our dad. They looked so comfortable, and I felt like I was in the wrong movie or something. Sarah was trying to make small talk with me, but I just kept my distance. I was focused on the food, which was actually pretty good, and avoided eye contact with my dad like it was my job. After dinner, my dad stood up with a glass and wanted to make a toast. He started going on about how excited he was for the new baby with Sarah. My discomfort just kept growing, and I could see my mom standing there, looking uneasy too. Then my dad started praising Sarah for being such a great partner, and I was just like, wow. Right at that moment, my mom showed up late, and my dad was quick to introduce her to Sarah. Sarah extended her hand with this big cheesy smile, and my mom just accepted it, but her expression was like stone. It was a total contrast, and I could feel the tension even more. Then Sarah had the nerve to announce that they were planning a family vacation to celebrate the new baby, and my dad was all in on it. He wanted everyone to join, especially me, and it felt like a challenge. I could see my mom glance at me, and I knew we were both thinking the same thing. I spoke up and said I wasn't interested in joining the vacation. Let me tell you, my dad's smile just vanished. It was like someone popped his balloon. The room went silent, and it was so awkward. Sarah tried to smooth things over by saying we could all bond over the trip, but my dad got all defensive. He said family should come first, and that included Sarah and the baby. I couldn't help it. I said family is not just about blood, but respect, and that seemed to shock everyone in the room. Then the argument just erupted. My dad started trying to lecture me about being a good son or whatever, and I called him out on his past actions. I didn't care if it was his house or not. Sarah just kept trying to defend him, and it got so heated. Then finally, my mom jumped in and reminded everyone that my feelings mattered too. Kate joined in and supported me, saying boundaries matter. I could feel the tension in the room, and my heart was racing. It felt like a scene from a soap opera or something. My dad tried to regain control of the conversation, but he was visibly shaken. You could see it in his eyes. After that, I just couldn't take it anymore. I told Kate I was leaving, and she followed me outside. We stood there in silence for a few minutes, and then Kate encouraged me to talk to Mom. I knew she was right, so we went back in. Mom was still there, and when she saw me, she hugged me tight. She expressed gratitude for my honesty. We ended up talking about setting boundaries regarding family gatherings moving forward. I felt a weight lift off my shoulders talking to her. I could tell she appreciated my support, and we both knew it wasn't going to be easy, but we were in it together. The next day, I got a call from my dad. I thought it was going to be him yelling at me or something, but it wasn't. He actually apologized for the confrontation. He mentioned wanting to find a way to coexist peacefully for the sake of the family. I told him I would consider attending future gatherings, but only on my terms. He seemed relieved, and I was just like, whatever. I think my relationship with my mom and my siblings will be okay, but this whole situation is just a mess. I don't know how we're going to navigate these family dinners moving forward, but I guess we'll figure it out. I just want to keep my sanity intact. Am I the idiot for refusing to host Thanksgiving after a decade and being called selfish by my sisters? I'm a 40-year-old female, and I have 6 sisters. My 2 older sisters are 44 and 47, and my 4 younger sisters are 38, 36, 34, and 32. We've always been a close-knit family, and for the past decade, I've taken on the responsibility of hosting Thanksgiving at my house. I enjoy having everyone over, but it's a lot of work, especially since we all have at least 2 children each, all in the age group 5 to 15. It's chaos, but joyful chaos. My husband helps out, but the majority of the planning, cooking, and organizing falls on me. This year, I decided I need a break. Life has been hectic, and I'm feeling burnt out. Between work, taking care of my children, 10 and 11 years old, and other responsibilities, I'm just not up for the task of hosting a big family gathering. So, I suggested that one of my sisters take over hosting Thanksgiving this year. I brought this up in our family group chat, thinking it would be a reasonable request, and it's plenty ahead of time. However, my two older sisters, Sarah, 47, and Emily, 44, were not happy with the idea. Sarah has a busy job and a smaller house, so she feels she can't accommodate everyone comfortably. Emily argued that she's been dealing with a lot of stress lately and doesn't have the energy to host. They both suggested that since I've been doing it for so long, I should just keep the tradition going, especially since my house is the most spacious and I'm the one who knows how to do it right. My younger sisters were more understanding, but they also hesitated to take on the responsibility. My sister Jessica, 38, said she would be willing to help out more with the preparations if I hosted, but she wasn't confident about hosting the entire event herself. The other younger sisters offered similar compromises, but no one was willing to take on the full load. After some back and forth, I stood firm and said I really need someone else to host this year. I suggested we could even make it a potluck to ease the burden, but Sarah and Emily were still upset. They accused me of being selfish and abandoning a family tradition that I've upheld for years. They argued that I'm the one with the most experience and that Thanksgiving just wouldn't be the same if I didn't host. Now, there's tension in the family, with my older sisters feeling like I'm letting them down. I feel like I've done my fair share over the years, and it's not unreasonable to ask for a break. But at the same time, I understand that my older sisters are also under a lot of pressure, and that hosting Thanksgiving is a big deal for our family. So, am I the antagonist for refusing to host Thanksgiving this year after doing it for the past decade? To add, the second oldest, Emily, handles Christmas, so I feel like it's totally fair that she not want to do both. She does not cook, though. She hires a catering company, but it's still a lot to take on regardless. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. That's how my family treated me for years. I was becoming more and more ill. The last year I hosted, I didn't even eat. I had to go lay down as soon as I finished cooking. No one did the dishes, and no one thanked me for doing all the hard work. The next year, I made reservations at a restaurant. Don't let them bully you into doing it anyway. If they want it at home, someone will step up. Stay strong. Don't give in. Comment 2. Ha ha ha. No. Hell no. Nuh-uh. Not the a-hole. They have two options. A, each makes their own Thanksgiving with no gathering of the whole family, or B, someone else, not you, will take over. And you also will not, under any circumstances, take over Christmas, Halloween, St. Martin's, or any other holiday. They've all forfeited that privilege. Now, for the update. A few months have passed since the Thanksgiving argument. The family group chat has remained tense since the potluck suggestion. Sarah and Emily have continued to host separate events at their homes, avoiding the narrator. The younger sisters have tried to mediate, but felt caught in the middle. Christmas approached, and the narrator decided to host a small dinner with just her immediate family. She sent a message to her sisters inviting them to join, hoping to make up. Sarah declined, citing her busy schedule as a reason not to attend. Emily responded with a passive-aggressive message about how it was nice to see the narrator taking a break. The narrator's family dinner went smoothly, with everyone enjoying the food and time together. The narrator's husband commented on how peaceful the evening felt without the usual family drama. A week later, the narrator received a text from Jessica, her younger sister, about a family gathering planned for New Year's Day. Jessica mentioned that Sarah and Emily had decided to host together, putting their differences aside. On New Year's Day, the gathering took place at Sarah's house, decorated festively. Tension was obvious when the narrator arrived, with Sarah and Emily exchanging icy glances. The narrator noticed a new friend of Sarah's, someone she had never seen before. The friend was overly friendly, engaging with everyone, and seemed to be the center of attention. As the evening progressed, the narrator overheard Sarah talking to the friend about how they needed to keep things under control. During dinner, Sarah announced a big surprise for the family, creating an atmosphere of suspense. She revealed that she and Emily planned to take over Thanksgiving permanently to keep the tradition alive. Suddenly, the friend stood up and added that she was secretly helping them plan a new family initiative. The narrator asked what the initiative was, and the friend smiled cryptically, saying it would change everything. Tension escalated as the family questioned the friend's involvement. Sarah snapped at the narrator, saying she should stop digging and just accept the changes. Emily backed Sarah, saying the family needed fresh ideas to keep the spirit alive. The friend revealed they were organizing a family trip overseas for Thanksgiving next year. Everyone gasped, with some excited about the idea, while others were visibly uncomfortable. The narrator spoke up, questioning how they could afford such a trip, given the family's differences in financial situations. Sarah and Emily exchanged glances, clearly having discussed this beforehand. They insisted that everyone pitch in, claiming it would be a team effort. The younger sisters looked worried, sensing the brewing conflict. The family group chat buzzed with mixed reactions to the trip idea the next day. Edit: the family chat quickly filled with mixed reactions. Some younger sisters expressed excitement, eager to travel together. Others were hesitant, concerned about the cost and logistics. The narrator felt uneasy, sensing her sisters had ulterior motives. She reached out to Jessica, who shared her discomfort with the trip idea, suspecting it was a way for Sarah and Emily to regain control. The narrator decided to ask for clarity on the costs involved, prompting Sarah to send a vague estimate. The narrator then proposed a more detailed budget discussion, hoping to uncover the truth. A video call was scheduled with all sisters present. Am I the idiot for telling my mother to back off after she tried to force a reconciliation with my grandmother's half-sister? My mom went behind my grandma's back several months ago and tracked down my grandma's half-sister to try and force a reconciliation between them, despite knowing Grandma did not want to and did not claim her half-sister as a real sibling. Grandma was furious. She told my mom that the half-sister is just some intimacy worker's child and not her real sibling, and her chance to have siblings died with her mom. After my great-grandma died, great-grandpa remarried someone who had a very extensive reputation for going after married and widowed men. My grandma thought the woman was disgusting. It wasn't helped by the fact that great-grandpa's new wife was also the other woman to one of the parents of grandma's friends, so the hatred already existed. They went on to have a daughter together, whom grandma never looked at as anything other than the woman's daughter. She saw her dad as a traitor and disgusting for going after someone like his wife, so she never formed any connection with her, and she moved out at around 16 years old in order to get out from under them. Great-grandpa's wife's reputation proved to be more than true because even while married to great-grandpa, there were more and more married or widowed men who were going in and out of the house. At some point, several years after Grandma moved out, her half-sister reached out and asked if she would take her because she wasn't happy at home, and Grandma said no. That was the last time they spoke. My mom and her siblings grew up knowing Grandma had a half-sister she wanted nothing to do with. But sometime during her life, Mom decided she could be the one to change Grandma's mind, and she waited until Grandma was older and Grandpa was gone, and she had been living alone for 2 years now in the retirement community. She tracked down the half-sister, got that woman's hopes up because she always hoped to have a relationship with my grandma, and then showed up at Grandma's house with the half-sister. It didn't go well. The half-sister left heartbroken, and my grandma tore my mom a new one. I have never seen my grandma actually angry before. She called my mom a bratty little know-it-all who thought she could ignore people's wishes and boundaries, and she told Mom that she couldn't look at her. Mom argued back that Grandma has a sister and she should know her before it's too late. Grandma sent me to the store to grab some snacks, and by the time I got back, Grandma told Mom she was not welcome back there again. Now for an update. Mom thought Grandma would calm down, but she learned a couple of weeks later when she tried to visit that she was banned from the community. My mom was horrified. She wouldn't stop talking about it at home, and I told her she got what was coming to her with what she did. I told her if I did something like that, she would ground me so fast. But just because she's an adult, she thought she could do it? Mom told me I shouldn't stick my nose into her business and that I have zero right to judge her. Am I the jerk? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. You didn't overstep your boundaries by expressing your opinion. Your mom's actions were disrespectful to your grandma's wishes and boundaries, which had significant consequences. It's understandable for you to feel that her actions led to the outcome she experienced, and sharing your honest opinion is a reasonable response, especially given the situation's impact on your family. Comment 2. Not the idiot. I have as much right to stick my nose in your business as you had to stick yours into Grandma's business. Grandma has it right. She's a bratty know-it-all. And also, a hypocrite. Now for the update. A few days after the whole mess went down, my mom called me, practically freaking out, wanting to talk about the situation with Grandma. She was like, "I can fix this. I really can. I need to visit her." I had to remind her that Grandma made it super clear she wanted nothing to do with her. But of course, my mom didn't listen. She had this whole plan in her head to apologize and make everything better, like it was that simple. Then I got this text from Grandma saying she was fine with the ban. That was her polite way of saying, "Stay the hell away from me," which I was totally on board with. But my mom? Nope. She decided to show up unannounced at Grandma's retirement community. I found out from a neighbor that my mom had been spotted arguing with the staff at the entrance. Like, what did she think was going to happen? Grandma was going to welcome her with open arms? Apparently, Grandma yelled from her apartment that my mom was not welcome. At this point, I was just sitting back and enjoying the show. My mom came home, frustrated and ranting about how she wouldn't give up on the family. Yeah, right. A week later, I got a group text from family members about a planned dinner for Grandma's birthday. I noticed my mom was included in the group text, and I immediately felt a knot in my stomach. Like, seriously? I had to confront my mom about it and said she needed to respect Grandma's wishes, but she just brushed me off, claiming the dinner was a chance for reconciliation, more like a chance for more drama. On the night of the birthday dinner, I arrived early to help set everything up. Grandma was in such high spirits, excited about the surprise cake and decorations. I was just hoping my mom wouldn't show up and ruin everything. But of course, she did. Out of nowhere, she showed up with flowers and a card for Grandma. I watched as Grandma's expression went from pure joy to pure anger in like 2 seconds flat. She told my mom to leave, but my mom just stood there, insisting she had every right to be there. It was so awkward, and the tension was just thick in the air. Grandma refused to even look at her, which made everything worse. When we got back to my place, I heard my mom ranting about how Grandma was just a stubborn old woman. I couldn't believe my ears. I confronted my mom, saying her behavior was completely unacceptable. The argument escalated, and of course, everyone else had to get involved. Grandma, clearly upset, retreated to her room, leaving us all in this awkward silence. I made a decision then and there to check on Grandma, leaving my mom behind because I couldn't deal with her right then. When I went to see Grandma, she revealed she was planning to move out of the retirement community. I was shocked, but also understood why. She told me she was looking into a new place where she could have some peace. In that moment, I was totally on board with helping her out. My mom, as usual, tried to enter Grandma's room, but I blocked her path. I had to tell my mom to stop trying to force herself into Grandma's life. She stormed out, claiming she would find a way to make things right. A few days later, I discovered a moving truck outside Grandma's apartment. She had already started packing her things, determined to leave. My mom showed up again, demanding to speak with Grandma. I had to inform her that Grandma was gone, and I watched her face just drop. Then I decided to help Grandma settle into her new home. In a final act of defiance, I sent a message to the family group chat, announcing Grandma's departure. I figured everyone needed to know the consequences of my mom's actions. Edit. My mom has continued to reach out to me, expressing her desire to reconnect with Grandma and asking for my help. I've refused, emphasizing that she needs to respect Grandma's choices. As for Grandma, she's settling into her new place and is much happier. We're taking things slow, and that's just fine. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.